Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of Golden Era.
In his book, The Discovery of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru says, "We can never forget the ideals that have moved our race, the dreams of the Indian people through the ages, the wisdom of the ancients, the daring of their thought, their splendid achievements. We will never forget them or cease to take pride in that noble heritage of ours. If India forgets them, she will no longer remain India, and much that has made her our joy and pride will cease to be." In the 50th year of India's independence, we celebrate the rich cultural legacy of our country. The treasured monuments which are brought to you in this series of films are also recognized by UNESCO as important monuments in the collective heritage of the world.
I invoke Divakar, the sun god, the one with 1,000 rays, who is invincible and the incarnation of light, and who bestows boons and removes the fears of devotees. Come, O God, the Lord of the world, the master of Rigved, Samaved, and Yajurved. I invoke Lord Aditya, the lamp of the three worlds, Surya, the light divine, has been worshipped since the Veds as the source of health and of purity. King Narasimhadeva I of the Ganga dynasty, which ruled Odisha, gathered the traditional mythological concepts and beliefs in the exaltation of the sun god and built the magnificent Sun Temple of Konarak in the early 13th century. The temple is a glorification of the creative forces. It is a poem in stone to life in its myriad moods, nurtured by the sun and his divine energy. The land of Odisha long pulsated with a rich tradition of the art of temple building. For over 1,000 years, Bhubaneswar, the temple city of India, saw the flowering of Odisha's temple architecture. The Jagannath temple at Puri stands till today as an exultant symbol of the vibrant energies of the Orisan Mahasthabdis. In the making of the great chariot of the sun god at Konarak, Narasimhadev gathered the creative impulses of his people and harnessed them to create a temple that was the very pinnacle of artistic achievement. Drawn by 7 spirited horses representing the rays of the sun, the collective myth of the massive chariot of the sun god is enshrined in monumental stone. The chariot has 12 pairs of wheels representing the months of the year. The spokes of the wheels, representing the hours of the day, are beautifully ornamented. High in the chariot is Surya, the sun god, with Arun, his charioteer, and the 7 rays of his horses. The sacred Shastras say, to build a temple is meritorious. So is the making of an image of a deity and its adoration. The temple was built on the banks of the river Chandrabhag, which then flowed here and emptied into the nearby sea. Konarak was then a prosperous port with trade links with distant countries. In those times gone by, these shores would have witnessed the flow of cultures across the wide seas. An interesting relief in the temple depicts the presentation to the king of a giraffe brought from Africa. The rampant lions crushing the elephants and other powerful images are symbolic of the victory of the sun over the dark forces, the routing of the Muslim invaders by King Narasimhadeva I. The jubilation of the king's triumphs and the prosperity of the kingdom are reflected in the zest for life abundantly revealed in the world of Konarak. The theme of woman, who represents the creative abundance of the sun, brings the stones of Konarak alive to the inspired touch of the sculptor. The artist is devoted to the grace and charm of the woman, which he captures in sensitively observed movements. The slender forms, in sinuous curves, languorous moments, gentle arms stretched above to bring a tree to flowering, are amongst the many moods she is seen in here. Konarak remains ever fascinating, for it speaks in the divine language of good workmanship, of the joy of life on earth. Here on the walls is a magnificent lyrical epic in stone of the joys of love and victory, dedicated to the great master of life, the sun. Love sensuous and love sublime are portrayed most movingly in the stones of Konarak. The artists of Konarak knew human nature, the delicate mysteries of love and faith. They knew also how to depict these in stone, as only the masters can. The care and devotion of the artist in molding these exquisite forms reminds us always of the philosophic understanding of the aesthetic experience in Indian tradition. It is believed that the ecstasy we experience in response to the works of great art is a state of being which is akin to the final state of divine bliss, Paramanand, when the soul loses itself in communion with the greater reality. Thus, the many temples of the religions of India bring to us a profusion of images celebrating beauty itself, the beauty of the creations of God, the adoration of which brings us always closer to Him. In the Indian tradition, the different arts were closely intertwined. As all the arts were seen as an offering to the divine, the house of God was naturally where they were nurtured. Here at Konarak is a unique confluence of the harmonious depictions of dance and music through the art of sculpture. Konarak presents us the whole of human life, permeated with the vital energies of the sun. The drama of human existence is seen in the vast scheme as well as in the intricate details of carvings, each infused with a deep and tender understanding of life on earth. All of creation unfolds before us, whether it is in the operations of the hunt, the carrying of merchandise to the market, the playing of drums and cymbals which quicken the feet of the dancer, lovers in tender embrace, or the poignant waiting at the door. The whole of life is encompassed within the turning wheels of the giant chariot as it makes its way through time and space from dawn to dusk. The details of activity, carefully observed by the sculptor and portrayed with infinite patience in the stones of Konarak, provide us with a veritable gallery of contemporary life, equaled by none other. Animals are depicted with great feeling, especially the elephant, that noble creature who is the heraldic symbol of the kings of Odisha, the Gajapatis. An assured hand and consummate skill are seen in the portrayal of the stallions, pulsating with the very breath of life. Grand though it might appear, what remains today are only the broken remnants of the Bhog Mandap and the Jagmohan, or the porch of the temple. The great tower of the temple itself collapsed many centuries ago. If this is only the entrance, how magnificent the main temple must have been. Flanked by two fierce lions, a flight of steps leads up to a beautifully ornamented 12-pillared hall, the Bhog Mandap. Though small, every inch of it is elaborately carved on all sides with the most exquisite forms of dancing maidens, musicians, and mythical animals. It is as if every stone resonates to the rhythms of the drum and to the tinkling of anklets. The sculpture here is a virtual repository of the many moods and movements of Odissi dance. This has led to the popular misconception that the mandap was conceived as a dance hall. The tradition of dancing before the gods has long been prevalent in India. These innumerable and lovingly executed sculptures of musicians and dancers draw our attention to the fact that dance and music were an integral part of the daily ritual of offerings. Beyond the Bhog Mandap and awaiting the visitor is the resplendent chariot of the sun god. The Jagmohan was the porch through which one entered the sanctum beyond. Its elaborately carved doorway beckons, but sadly no longer allows us entry into that sacred place. The doorway, with delicately sculpted, graceful attendants, is luxuriantly decorated with kinnars, creepers, lotuses, and ganas. In an attempt to save the Jagmohan from collapsing, in 1901, the British government began to fill the interior of this porch with sand and bricks. This task was completed in 1905. Above, the celestial musicians and the gods themselves herald the arrival of the sun as he rises to dispel the darkness of the night with his brilliant light. Their notes rise as in a hymn in praise of Surya, Aditya, Bhaskara, Divakara, the many names by which the sun is invoked. The elaborately decorated chariot mirrors the resplendence of the original temple. Every hub and spoke of the wheels, which pull the chariot forward, is adorned with graceful nayikas, nags, and mithun couples. These are auspicious figures, symbolizing the fertility and the benevolent energies of the sun. Couples in warm embraces, reflecting the creative energies of the sun, also profusely adorn the walls of the temple. The dynamic concept of the giant wheels which pull the sun god's temple across the skies of the day is unique in the realm of architecture. Beyond the Jagmohan, on the shared massive platform, once stood the magnificent temple, towering taller than any other ever built. The shikhar of the house of the sun god seemed as if to reach upwards towards him in the sky. The reasons for the collapse of this great edifice are shrouded in myth and diffused by the distance of the past. The original entrance to the sanctum through the Jagmohan is blocked by the protective filling of the interior of the porch. This grand temple was built at an enormous cost over a period of 16 long years by King Narasimhadeva I. Legend tells us that 1,200 craftsmen toiled night and day to fulfill the ambitious dream of their king. Alas, a dream which rose but could not stand against the ravages of time. Perhaps the epic pain to the sun god carried the seeds of its own destruction in the very monumentality of its conception. Awestruck even by the grandeur of the mere entrance which remains, the imagination staggers and is unable to conceive the original glory of the great temple. The rich legacy of Orissan culture lives on in the creative impulses of its sensitive people. The continuing tradition of the Shilpkar, of the offerings created by adoring hands, is ever vibrant on the shores of Odisha. The ecstasy of the making of the image divine is even today passed on by the master craftsmen into eager and diligent hands. The stone still yields to the loving touch of the sculptor as he creates the hymns of his offerings to the gods. In the words of the poet Rabindranath Tagore, the beauty and wonder of the temple of Konarak are such that the language of man is here defeated by the language of stone.